Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. A few days ago, I made a video about Star Wars and how they did it to themselves. And in that video, I alluded very vaguely to an article, which I didn't link or show on purpose, that had just come out, which was very odd because it read and appeared as a 2017 Last Jedi hit piece on people who dared to speak out against that god-awful film. A film, by the way, that I saw at the cinema, have never seen again since, have no intention of ever seeing again, and after that film, and because of the way that Lucasfilm acted afterwards towards the fandom, I lost my interest in the main Star Wars stuff, and I didn't even go to see the rise of the Skywalkers. That's just by the by, though. But this hit piece really kind of had a go at people like Ryan Kinnell to try and paint them as somebody who had been radicalized because they had an opinion about a Space Wizard movie. This isn't some cell, okay? This is some people, and a lot of people, because if you look at the vast majority, well, not majority, sorry, if you look at the vast numbers of conflicting points of view on that film, it literally split the fandom in twain, with some people going, I like it, for whatever reason, you go for it, girl. And people just like, this is horrendous, this is terrible, etc. And that notched up in the millions. And because of it, The Last Jedi did significantly less money than The Force Awakens, which it shouldn't have. It should have built up on the money that it made. But it did substantially less. 700 million, or maybe 900, significantly less. 700 odd million, wow. And then the rise of the Skywalker, Mary Sue, Palpatine, just managed to break $1 billion, which was disastrous for Disney as to really what they wanted. Because the trilogy had no direction. Something that was admitted to. It wasn't planned out properly. They were literally creating the story movie to movie with some vague points for people to pick up on, but it was massively mishandled, massively misdone, and put in the hands of the wrong people, first and foremost, and more importantly. Again, that's just by the by. So this hit piece coming out in 2021, really kind of highlighting somebody like Ryan Kinnell, was odd. But there again, in just a few short days' time, Ryan Kinnell was going to be part of a major panel doing a charity stream for a certain Zack Snyder and his version of the Justice League. I'm sure that's just a coincidence, though. Forget that. I'm sure it's just an absolute coincidence. So anyway, most of us were just like, we're not going to mention it, specifically, and we're not going to point people to it, but we're going to reference it, and then we're moving on. Because this hit piece is pathetic. And if you went to the website and actually went through it, which is this one here, it is literally a 6-mile long spurg of, shall we say, something that's created that people will look at and be like, graphs and pie charts and this and that, and enough there to confuse people left, right, and center. Oh, but just trust us, though. What all this means is that it's all toxic white males and fuck out of here. Crazy. Crazy for liking Reylo. So, this rewriting Ripley was the source behind it all. And the reason why we're going to talk about it now is because after the kerfuffle died down, and then very oddly, and I'm sure this again is just a coincidence, after what happened on the Zack Snyder live stream, which was heartbreaking for the Geeks and Gamers crew, they suddenly decided to get more vocal again and more bold. And this time they clipped EVS, and I'm not going to show the clip because that's one thing that they want as well. They clipped EVS out of context, and if you listen to the clip that they did, it sounds bad. I listened to it and it sounded bad. It sounded like, oh, come on. I know that you're joking, but yeah. But the whole point was it was clipped at a very specific time, so you didn't get the full context of what was said. So when you saw the full clip, it was like, I see, I get it. But that's exactly why it was manipulated. And then that clip was spread, surprisingly enough, by people at Disney. I'm just saying. And EVS received, I believe, the video was pulled, or the stream was pulled down and received a strike on the channel, I believe. When that happened, they attempted to really go for it. So let's go into a few things now. Let's have a look at a few things, because Data Racer and the Quartering yesterday were really pulling the details, and it was amazing. I mean, Data Racer just does absolutely I keep praising the person, but my goodness me, they do absolutely incredible stuff. The Rewriting Ripley podcast, trying to deplatform Star Wars YouTubers, is being run by Reylo SJWs. She said, the Last Jedi haters' opinions are violent, have damaged her mental health, and she fears for her well-being because fans criticized the movie. We will deal with them when we get to them, okay? Because it's easy to see that. EVS, Ethan Van Sciver, was targeted. Now, Ethan Van Sciver, there's no denying, Ethan Van Sciver's got a bullseye on his head 24/7. People want to take this guy down. And so they will use anything that they possibly can. Any ammunition, even if it means trying to take things out of context and sending it. The good thing about at least YouTube is they will normally properly review something. They won't just take an out of context clip and then act on that. They will properly look at something, and maybe even when they saw the context of it, they deemed the fact that it was too close to the bone because of what had recently happened. But let's have a look at this. They went on the attack to try and get his site pulled down. They talk about aided by over a million tweets and 1,000 YouTube videos. The alt-right radicalization of Star Wars. Oh, shut up. Shut up! Your Space Wizard movie was shit. Get over it. It's literal insanity. Somebody cannot accept that people have a different opinion. They cannot accept that we might not agree with you. And they try and pull data and analyticals to discredit somebody's opinion so they can turn around and go, I'm right. That is actual insanity. Insanity. From designated white supremacist hate groups. Oh! It's a Space Wizard movie, and it was shit. So they grassed him up. They took the clip out of context and they sent it to Team YouTube. Team YouTube said, hey, cheers, thanks. Then they started looking through other videos, which they personally didn't like. And they were targeting the ones with Rose Tico, the worst Star Wars character ever created. It's got nothing to do with their race. It's got nothing to do with their gender. It has everything to do with how poorly they were written and how terrible a character they are. While I'm sure Kelly Marie Tran is a lovely, lovely lady. Because we're talking about the character in the Space Wizard movie, not the actress who played them. Can you differentiate between the two? Because I don't think this person can. In fact, I'm convinced that they can't. So again, they start sending video after video to Team YouTube. And once the first video gets pulled down, then the veil drops. And they breach... this YouTube account doesn't exist anymore, surprise, surprise, though. They breach YouTube's terms and conditions. Hey, we're trying to get EVS off of YouTube. YouTube is currently paying attention. Please support the video in the screen. Report the video in the screenshot. If you click into the video, you can add more detailed timestamp is yada, yada, yada. Or you can follow the steps below without clicking the video. That is against YouTube terms of service. Inciting people to pull down a channel. They showed their hand and they got caught because they're stupid. And they have problems. And when the video went, now let's take down the entire channel. You are in breach of YouTube's terms of service. Not EVS, you. And when we have a look at this person, we just arrived at the powder room in LA. After party starts now. Hashtag LA Reylos. Hashtag rise of the Reylos. What are you doing this for? Why are you bringing this up? If you don't know what a Reylo is, a Reylo is a person that ships. I know all the hip language that the kids know. It is a person that ships the relationship between the Mary Sue character of Rey Palpatine and the 1,000 times worse than Hitler murderer of billions of people of all different races, genders, ethnicities, and colors. Kylo Ren. Because he has nice pair of abs and chest. So they talk about hate. They talk about groups and radicalization and all this business. But they want to see Adolf Hitler bang female Jesus. And that somehow is fine. Is fine. That is madness. That's mad. That's mad. Actually mad. Then let's address what they say themselves. I have only mentally allowed myself to break from Star Wars for about a week, and realizing the damage that fandom has done to my psyche has been interesting. It really is insanely violent, toxic, and depressing. Okay. If fandom is damaging your psyche, and they refer to people who have different opinions than them, if somebody has a different opinion of your Space Wizard movie than you, and it hurts you up here, and I say this with love and kindness, I truly do, get off the internet. Get off the internet now, because you're actually sick. And you need professional help. And if any of her friends are watching this, you know that she probably truly needs professional help. Because it is not normal. It is not in any single solitary capacity normal. That because somebody has a different opinion about a space wizard movie than you, that you're losing it. That's insane. It really is insanely violent. It's not. This is just a lie. An utter lie. You have never, in any way, shape, or form, experienced one single iota of violence because of somebody's opinion about the Space Wizard movie. You are creating your own demons in here. And that's why you need to step away. Because it is unhealthy for you and you clearly are unable to cope. You need professional help. And I say it again, I say it with love and kindness. You need help. Step away, please. Reach out and get it. It's toxic, again, a word which everyone throws around, and depressing. I totally agree. Star Wars is fucking depressing. I just want to be in a space where I'm not constantly fearing for my mental health and in some cases my life. That is not normal. That is not normal. Nobody in any way, shape or form is threatening that. This again is something you have constructed up here because you're not well. And once more, with love and kindness, step away, get help. These people are Gamergate, you Projection. These people are Comicsgate. Ethan is Comicsgate. If you don't know that, consider yourself lucky. Also, think about being informed before you create some made-up story. I think that was just the ultimate projection. I think that was just the ultimate projection right there. But then we get some very interesting links. This person here. Hi, Twitter. Do I have any academics that follow me on here who are experts in fandom, and particularly fandoms in relation to digital culture online? Would love to chat with ya. And then the next day, thanks. Just trying to turn these into action items so we can try to help make things better on my end. We'll discover who they are in a moment. Don't worry. Really would welcome the input of non-cis white men and women so we can make this a better fandom for everyone. Sorry, cis white men and female. By the way, no speaky uppy. That's pretty ignorant for somebody trying to collate data. Just saying. It's in fact, it would really drastically alter the results of said don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So who is this person? Oh, they run the Star Wars social media account on Twitter. They run the official Star Wars Twitter account. And look who's responding to them. The person from Rewriting Ripley. So they have a direct contact with Star Wars. Interesting. So, December 2020, Rewriting Ripley suddenly pops onto Twitter. Let's have a look at the website again. Rewriting Ripley, a podcast on feminism. Yeah. And fandom in the age of social media. So that pops up. And then we have somebody who's related to Asmodee, senior brand manager Asmodee, who distribute Star Wars material. Another link to Star Wars. The person themselves used to work at not BioWare. Oh no, Digital Crystal Dynamics. The company that made the failure Marvel superhero game, which lost money for Square Enix recently because it had no content. No content at all. Nothing for people to do. Crystal Dynamics, I think. So again, they had another link. All these links to Star Wars. It's incredible. And then another one. Pablo Hidalgo. Hater of Star Wars fans. The person who attacked Star Wars Theory when he showed his emotional reaction to the return of Luke Skywalker at the end of The Mandalorian Season 2. Because these scum, utter scum, attacking the biggest Star Wars fan that they had. A person, by the way, who'd gone through immense personal difficulty, health-wise, and beat it and came through. Laughed at them. Why does Pablo Hidalgo suddenly follow a brand new podcast that was set up that would be completely off everyone's radar? How does Pablo Hidalgo suddenly start to follow that? That's odd, isn't it? Don't you think? So there's at least 4 to 5 connections to Lucasfilm, to Star Wars, to Disney with this podcast and the corporation. I'm sure it's just a coincidence. Let's carry on again, shall we? Data Racer himself was the subject of a hit piece by this same person. And the only reason why their name has come up is because they left it on their website. They put it on the website. They claimed that they were being doxxed, but they weren't. They had their name up on the website for all to see. Then, once they got called out on all of this yesterday, once everybody started to collect the data and start to put the pieces together and dismantle this podcast for exactly what it is, what seemingly was, which was at least a corporation approved podcast website to act as a blunt instrument to attempt to take out people who dared to speak up against Star Wars. And they tried to go with one of the biggest ones first, EVS. Because when they create their pieces, and again, I'm sure this is just a coincidence, these pieces suddenly get retweeted by a lot of people at Lucasfilm. Really? Wow, that is such a coincidence. That a tiny, minuscule podcast that only now has 1,200 followers after 3 months would get so much attention from Disney and Lucasfilm employees to push what they're saying. I'm sure it's just an utter coincidence. So when they attack, they suddenly say that they're receiving threats upon their person. And they tweet it out. And the quartering responds with, The account in question was made the very same month that they started their podcast. We have already caught them in 4K with multiple alt accounts, and I have no doubt that this is also a fake account so they can control the SJW Crusher Get Real. An account they control. They are making this all too easy. They're using sock puppet accounts to attack themselves to make it look like fandom. But why would you need to do that when you have all this empirical evidence of the radicalization of Star Wars fans? It kind of makes us think that you're just full of shit. You're just full of shit, and you can't cope with the fact that people have a different opinion of your Space Wizard movie where you want Hitler to bang female Jesus than others. Then today, recently, they went on an absolute mind-bending, crazy tirade. And I'm just gonna click through. You can go source it for yourself. Yes, the Spurg is still going. And if you read it in its entirety, it is madness. Madness. Let's conclude this because we've been going for nearly half an hour now. But I really wanted to go in depth with this. I see. This is just an opinion. I see vulnerable people who have been exploited. Is what I see. I see people who are clearly struggling mentally with how they cope with things online. And as I said, I truly hope they get help. I see an organization that despises its audience because that's how organizations work nowadays. The comics industry, TV, film. It's beyond insanity because those companies will get gobbled up by companies that come along and say, do you know what? I actually want their money. I actually want their money, and I don't care if they're black, white, purple, magenta, straight, gay, whatever. I want them to be a part of my fandom. I want them to be a part of my... And they will. They'll come and they'll take it. And then the other companies will be left in the dust and gone. The damage will be done. But I see a company that potentially saw some people to exploit, to turn into a blunt instrument, to point in the direction and say, go with our blessing. Recently, with the depersoning of Gina Carano, Lucasfilm did the same. Lucasfilm did exactly the same. They made up a horrible line about Gina Carano when they sacked her online on Twitter because they're cowards, which literally gave a red rag to these people to attack Gina. Don't think corporate sponsored cancelization and deplatforming isn't real. It's very real. And we've seen it in action right now. Just an opinion. Just a thought, but I'm absolutely sure that's not the case. I'm sure it's all just a coincidence. I hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and YouTube for live streaming. Links are in the description box down below, and I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye for now.